Hey guys, Desolate Magic here, and unfortunately, more closures in the Magic world. Yeah, we all heard about Hogwarts closing for the school year, but also Illivermorny is closing until May. Oh wait, wrong Magic World. By the way, I was going to read some of these off the wiki. Castello Bruxo, Mahauto Koro, and Uagadu? Those are names of schools other than Hogwarts. What were you smoking, J.K. Rowling? Maybe I should write another book about the one in Uganda. It'll be Harry Potter and the Ebola outbreak. Anyway, speaking of outbreaks that are happening in our universe, unfortunately, Wizards announced yesterday that all WPN qualifiers are suspended. In a very short article, they just wrote, "We recognize that many WPN event organizers are making difficult choices with their WPN qualifiers and other events in the face of COVID-19, aka the Big Dirty, aka Boomer Doomer. In an effort to bring clarity to these organizers and their players, we have made the following decisions effective immediately. All WPN qualifiers and Premier Series events before May 10th are canceled." So I believe their previous decision was to maybe cancel a couple and then it was up to the store owners or something like that. Now it's just like straight up no. Some of the restrictions across Wisconsin where I live are getting crazy. We've only had like a handful of cases, so yeah, not having people travel hours to all sit in a giant room and breathe in each other's faces right about now is probably pretty wise. And I do know from experience that when moderately significant prizes are on the line, people will go to even a pre-release event sick and get everybody else sick. Usually me specifically. So obviously I stand behind this. I mean, it is what it is. It's one of the least important things that's getting canceled right now compared to like people's jobs. So hopefully nobody's tripping too hard over this. So the interesting details about this cancellation, besides just, hey, we're not holding them, is any qualifiers that have already occurred will still provide invitations to the now rescheduled players tour for Series 2. And they're just going to push that back as far as they need, basically. So, like, if you qualify, they're not just going to be like, oh, well, they'll just send you to whenever the next one is. Then if a store already has a WPN qualifier promo cards on hand, they should hold on to them for a future WPNQ or Premier Series event. This is an evolving situation, so it is possible that additional cancellations may be deemed necessary. Yeah, the U.S. government just had a document leaked where they suspect and are planning for this to go like 18 months plus, which I can't see any possible reason that it won't. Literally nothing will stop this other than the entire collapse of society and the economy, where just everybody stays home no matter what until everybody and governments and companies are out of money, which is not great, or an effective mutation-proof or mutation workaround vaccine comes out. That is literally the only thing that will stop this right now. Let's just say I wouldn't exactly be counting on May either. So then they go on to say events after May 10th will be rescheduled where possible. With so much uncertainty, we must remain flexible. We want to emphasize that this is a developing situation and we need to make additional changes to the schedule or events based on the recommendations of governments and health organizations. I'd start by not listening to a word the World Health Organization says because they're in China's pocket and they're just trying to cover for their image because one of their leading members is Chinese. And he's a publicly admitted 100% pro-communist, so can't trust shit he says or does. I'd start with the CDC, but I have a feeling that they are. Anyway, we hope that in delaying some events and making accommodations for others, we can provide safe play experiences where possible and protect the health and well-being of our players and employees when that's not possible. We appreciate your flexibility, patience, and understanding as we make changes to best ensure the safety and health of everybody involved in WPN events. So yeah, everybody pretty much saw that coming. And the next major closure I wanted to hit upon is Channel Fireball. They just announced also yesterday, wow, they really coordinated this. An important update from Channel Fireball was the title of it. They say, hey all, as everybody knows by now, and I mean literally everybody they put, that's pretty funny. We are facing a severe global pandemic. In order to ensure the safety of Channel Fireball staff in our community, we have made the decision to temporarily shut down Channel Fireball warehouse operations starting Monday, March 23rd. Any orders placed before Friday, March 20th at noon will be processed and shipped as normal, but orders placed after that deadline will not be shipped until we resume full operations, which we will do when we deem it prudent. You know, I would just send 1 to 2 people there, make them work very apart from each other, maybe even 4 people if it's big enough, and just keep it running at an extremely slow, limited pace, because otherwise, those orders are going to stack up and they're going to start making 0. So making anything that isn't 0 and having people working, is better than nothing, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know that maybe they are doing that. Who knows? Or maybe everybody's just like, screw it, vacation. Now, in a rather unusual move, this seems illogical to me, but I guess there's some motivation behind this. Any order that's made after the deadline, you get 10% store credit back on that purchase, which will ship at an unknown, undisclosed time. So they're giving motivation to people to keep stacking up orders when they don't know when they're coming back and resuming the shipments. I mean, if you really want to be busy when you come back, I guess. It's one way to preserve some semblance of business, and plus I'm sure you're paying up front, which there's some logic to consider there if you're ordering like a standard deck or some cards for standard. But in a video that Channel Fireball posted from Lumpy Space Vargas, who is in a room that looks nicer than my whole house, he said that they don't need their warehouse to process buy list stuff, so you can still send them stuff. So, hey, while you're stuck in your house, if you are, start going through old cards and send them everything. Make a 1,000 card buy list. Or send them to someone who pays better, like Card Kingdom. Although, for the record, I'm not sure if they've shut down their buy list system over there. And in another article that is very interesting, has nothing to do with COVID whatsoever, but it's hilarious. Amongst the many reasons that I very much dislike TCG Player, one of them now, add this to the list, is that their workers are fighting to unionize because the working conditions are shit. So there's an article out on thestrikewave.com. You can go look that up if you really want. The title is TCG Players Pokemon Card Wielding Warehouse Workers are fighting to unionize, but I assume also the Magic card people. Hey, Kim Kelly, who wrote this? Magic's bigger. Put that one in the title. But then again, maybe the Pokemon cards are a different warehouse, and it's just them striking. I don't know. Or pardon me, they're not going on strike yet. They're trying to unionize. But yeah, this article, you basically can't trust it after reading the first sentence, which is something about, the gaming community is largely focused on two big issues: gender discrimination and harassment within the industry, and game developers punishing work schedules. Neither of those have anything at all to do with this situation, but they want to throw that out there, even though 50% of it is bullshit and the other 50% is, get a job at a better company, you dumbass. Speaking of that, card sorting is the worst, okay? I have personally by myself opened 10 grand worth of products and sorted them in 2 days. You start to be able to taste the ink in the paper, okay? It's in the air. You get repetitive stress injuries. It's mind-numbingly boring. It's terrible. You start opening like masterpieces when I did BFC and I just didn't give a shit. It is bad, and almost worse is the sorting afterwards. Everything about selling cards in large quantities sucks. Everything. So according to one of the organizers behind this, basically it's, what you always hear. Over about the last 8 months, they've been trying to slash wages, and if they don't want to take the lower pay, they just fire the person. That's kind of rude. Let's see what else. Worse health benefits because healthcare is going up. I mean, that's just an affordability thing. That's pretty much everywhere. Oh, and to hit margins and lower staff expense, which is one of the only expenses involved in that industry, they keep telling people to work faster, and they're just like super not having that, I guess. So yeah, the job sucks. I mean, anything like that. Like, I used to work at a printing facility. It's somewhat similar. It's, load the hopper, do this, sort this, put this in a box, ta-da. That's got to be somewhat similar to what they're doing at TCG. In fact, I thought TCG Player was just a shitty eBay clone for cards, and you might as well just use eBay, which is where I buy and sell exclusively. And now their fees are about the same. So they've gotten really greedy lately, but maybe it might be because losses in some TCGs, all TCGs, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, what probably really is killing them right now is the increase in first class postage. It's ridiculous. In like a year, it doubled. I mean, you can't build that into your margins. But what they could possibly be doing, I don't know. Do they do buy lists or something? I don't know. I haven't dealt with this stupid company. But I thought they were just the middleman. I didn't think they warehoused or sold or sorted or bought or sold anything. But I guess that's not true. I don't know. So, I mean, while these statements sound good on the surface, this job, anything to do with dealing with cards, is a shit job. And everybody knows this, so it pays low. And usually it's like prison workers who are out for the day. I mean, that's who I work with at the graphics facility. People with horrible criminal records, drug problems. I mean, teenagers, college students who just work the job for a couple months between semesters. I mean, that's who works really shitty jobs. Like mind-numbingly boring card sorting. And this ain't no like, yeah, it's kind of a shitty job, but it pays good, like janitorial or like garbage pickup person. It's just a shitty job, and they expect a turnover rate that's astronomical. I mean, I think 1/10 of the people that I work with quit like every month. But they brought in staffing agencies, and they sent people from like homeless shelters and people from halfway houses and all that. You know, that's just, it's the job they could get, and that's who they should be targeting. Let's see if that sounds like what they're doing at like a giant card sorting facility. I assume that's what it is. Let's see if it sounds like they're hiring the right person when we read this paragraph. Goalposts are constantly moving for people who want to advance within the warehouse, while our base pay is barely above NYS, I assume that's New York State, minimum wage, and everyone is dealing with increasing rents, car payments, student loan payments, medical issues, and raising families. Who the f*** are you hiring? And you're set up in New York State. Wow, could you pick a more expensive place to set up a business that doesn't matter where you are? In fact, it does matter, because for shipping reasons, you should be dead center in the middle of the country. I mean, TCG Player has now done literally everything involved in their business wrong. They have hired the wrong people at the wrong wages, in the wrong state with the wrong corporate and personal income tax rates, I'll tell you that right now, let alone sales tax. And they got as far away from California as they possibly can. They're like, they might as well be in Maine at this point. Wow, how not to run a business 101. Holy shit, these people are stupid. There's even a lot of statements in here that would point to, let me just summarize. They're hiring far, far left liberals with useless degrees. And they even said they're going over their way to hire like more women, and now somehow then women are the most effective because that's who they're laying off the most of, because that's the majority of the workforce, and that like somehow that's bad, as if that's not how math works. A bunch of liberal keywords, a bunch of SJW language in this article, an overall entitled millennial socialist movement here to unionize, and the mention of SJW hiring practices mixed with the mention of student loans. Okay, so attention everybody who works there, apparently from the evidence. How's that feminist dance degree from your liberal arts college doing? Oh, you're sorting magic cards. Well, if you sit there for 4 years and listen to teachers bitch about how much they hate white people and men, that's the job you qualify for, is sorting cards and putting them in packages. So to sum up the thing, blah, 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 boo-hoo, they fired 50% of the workforce. Well, that's because they're not making any money and a bunch of TCGs died, so... Welcome to business. They're going to pay people just for the fun of it. They have to make money, and labor is their number one expense. So then again, they own a warehouse in New York State, so maybe not. Maybe they're paying property taxes pretty hard too. Idiots. So blah, 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 tedious work, fine movements with our hands, repetitive strain injuries, blah, 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 blah. Get a different job, you entitled assholes. If it like pays minimum wage, it's virtually unskilled, and it's not helping your resume, get a job literally anywhere else doing anything else. Like, why is it, we're going to unionize. Okay, cool. Have fun driving the company out of business. They can't afford to pay you more, pay for all your stupid student loan debt and your medical shit, okay? Work somewhere with more income coming in, higher margins, and more like budget for workforce if you want really good benefits, or get a more useful degree. I worked my ass off, paid for my own college, and got 2 IT degrees, and I made some money on that shit. That's how the world works, okay? Nobody's just gonna hand you money because you're a nice person and you exist. But money, you gotta beat out everybody else in training and in the job, the work you do, everything. It's a constant competition to beat everybody else and look better than everybody else. If you and your participation trophy and you're voting for Bernie because he'll give you free money can't get that through your thick head, then you're just going to perpetually not succeed in your career. Oh, and by the way, they actually mentioned Trump directly in this article. Somehow this is his fault. Sure. So fuck all y'all dumbass unionizing idiots. Unions are not magic. It's not some greedy, fat guy sitting in a chair rubbing his hands saying, yes, yes, my slaves. No, they're looking at their books and making tough decisions. They can't just make money appear out of nowhere, you idiots. Get a different job. I mean, once you see that the Titanic's sinking, jump off that ship, okay? I had a pretty good job as head IT manager at a company, but they almost went bankrupt 2 out of the 4 years that I worked there. So a couple years ago, bye Felicia. They pissed me off so much, I didn't even give them 2 weeks notice. Oh, the number one reason I left is because they were paying me literally half of the industry standard for that job position. That. You don't get paid enough and the work environment is shit? Leave your job, not form a union. The card sorting liberal SJW dumbass activist union. I can't wait to see that one. So, after hiring such toxic, entitled, crybaby, whiner, millennial dumb fucks, expect TCG Player to go completely out of business in the next couple of years. You can't sustain setting up a company with that toxic of a workforce. Actually, can anybody name a company where they hired a bunch of like-minded, politically far-left people and it succeeded in any way, shape, or form? I remember that construction company where it was all females, which is, by the way, illegal, and they built a bridge and then it fell over. Turns out they built it wrong. Oops. Maybe they should have hired the best people for the job instead of just what's in their pants. Because it turns out what wasn't in their pants was blueprints on how to build an overpass correctly. Anyway, I can't wait for that shit company to go under. I've got no love for eBay, but it's just a better platform. In the meantime, I just heard about a brand new website called mtgstand.com where you can set up your own stand, I guess, and start selling cards. I don't know much about it. Owner seems nice. That's about it. Haven't really tried or investigated myself. It might be the next TCG Player. It might be the next Puka trade. Just warning ya. But to me, it just looks like an improved TCG Player. So you might want to check that out, look into it. Just thought I'd mention it. A little free plug for them because, like I said, they seem nice, but not sponsored. Oh, and also, I really like cardshark.com. They're pretty good, too. So, yeah, it's pretty much all bad news across the board today, but, well, welcome to mid-2020. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.